how do you see your main principles applying to the new generation of leaders? And we've got some younger leaders here in the room. How does it apply to them in society today?
I think you got to set an example, and you got to talk to them about. I use the yin and the yang model. I think I'm a visual person. The yin and the yang model. On the yin side of that model, it's a circle with a little divider between it, and it's just kind of wiggly around, but it's two pieces of that circle. And one piece is your values and standards. And there you've got to live up to those. You've got to be willing to sacrifice to live up to those. And on the other side, you're going to have to adapt and shift and reinvent the wheel. And if you don't do that, change is, you're going to be left behind. Like, what was the old Kodak? They didn't change quick enough, and they got left behind. So, but on the other side is your pieces of character, values, and those sorts of things. Your mission statement that you got to accomplish. And I think that helps me a lot. And I would sit down and talk with younger person and say, look, this, okay, over here, the yin, but the yang, you got to change. But you don't change this. Can you be committed to this? Because thousands of years now, this has been proven to be the best thing you can do, the best way you can live, and to be an honorable person.
Yeah.
And one other thing I wanted to say, I thought about, I'm getting forgetful now, I'm so old, but I thought about this a minute ago, is that when you have an organization, tell your people, your managers that work directly for you, the people that work directly for you, or people on your team, if you disagree with me, if you don't think I'm headed in the right direction, come in and sit down and let's talk, and you give me your perspective. I may buy into it, I may not, but I need to know your perspective, because you may be seeing something I don't see, and you may be right and I'm wrong. So I'm going to listen to you. And that's one of my 6 items that I brief all of my people who work for me. Don't be afraid to come and conflict with me and just say, I disagree, and here's why. And I'll listen to you. I may not buy it, but I'll listen to you. And I won't feel, you'll feel valued. I'll value you, okay?
So it's kind of a military ethos, I think, for leaders, and I'll just throw this out there. When I would take over command, I would always get my junior leadership in the room, and I would say, here's the deal. You have to be able to disagree with me. I am disagreeable. And I mean that in disagree-able. You are able to disagree with me, the general, the colonel, the commander. Why? Well, quite frankly, I always agree with myself, like 100% of the time. And so I need people around me who are willing to push back, right? And in that moment, I'm gonna hear things that I haven't thought of. God didn't put me on this earth to solve every problem. I'm not equipped to solve every one of them. I think I am, but I'm not, right? And so I need other people to help me when I don't see the same thing that they do, right? As we bring that in. For me, when it comes to young leaders, I have, in any kind of a crisis decision making, if you take nothing else from what I say, there's 4 questions that you need to ask young leaders, and they need to be prepared to answer them. Now, the cool thing about this is I'm not going to ask them other questions. I'm going to prep them by saying, these are the 4 questions I'm going to ask you. You need to be prepared to answer these 4 questions. Now I tell my bosses, ask me these 4 questions. Don't ask me something else, ask me these 4. This really helps during a crisis because it focuses people on a solution right away because we're all in the same sheet of music. First question is, what do we know? Tell me what you know. For fact. Not made up, not what I think. For fact. That may not be a lot of stuff to start with. The second question is more important, and that is, what don't we know? Because you see, if I, the leader, ask my subordinate junior leader what they don't know, 1, I'm giving them permission to not know stuff. That's liberating, because now when they did that first question, what do we know, and they know the second question is coming, I can trust more about what they answered in the first one because they're not making it up, because they've got permission to not know. The second great thing about this is they don't have to wait to come to talk to me. Because if I say, you're not going to know stuff, they're not in their office or off to the side going, well, Jack might ask this and this, or he might ask that. We should all get answers to all of those before we go to the boss. Instead, they're going to come to me quicker with, here's what we know and here's what we don't know. The third thing is, what are we doing about it? That's the third question. Why is this important? I'm empowering them to go out and figure out the things that we don't know. I'm giving them the power to go do that. I'm not saying go solve it this way, because as leaders, we're successful, we're smart, we have pattern recognition of things that have happened in the past, but we also really like to solve the problems that we like to solve. And so when we get a new problem, we kind of manipulate it so that it's kind of like a problem we solved before, and we slap our answer on it, when that may not be the problem at all. We just like to solve it that way. Right? So I'm giving them the power. Go out and solve this and come back to me with a fill-in. The last thing I ask them is, who else needs to know? This empowers them to tell me to go do something. Like, you need to go work with, if it's the chancellor, the provost. Like, somebody's got to go talk to the faculty, because the faculty are going to not like this. So they need to be informed at a minimum. And the deans, in my world of higher ed, that's always where I'm going, is I'm telling my boss, the chancellor, we probably need to talk to the deans. Right? What's great about that is I've given my boss something to do besides wait around the phone and call me every 15 minutes with, like, you got an update? How about now? What about now? They have a task now, right? And it's an appropriate task because it's up and out of the organization. It's not down and in while we're trying to solve this. We're coaching these young leaders because they don't really get a lot of this coaching anymore, because they're not in the office getting it face to face with you as often as maybe in the past.